Planning a wedding in Atlanta and looking for the perfect hotel venue? Look no further. Atlanta has some of the most stunning and elegant hotels that provide the ideal setting for a memorable wedding day. Over the last 10 years, Atlanta has become a sought-after location to visit and live in. Attractions such as conventions, sports events, concerts, and group meetings make Atlanta a destination for all events. Although costs continue to rise, the local economy, available jobs, and housing make Atlanta a place many people choose to move to and live permanently. One report shows that 66,000 people moved to Atlanta alone for new jobs in 2023. Atlanta has become very appealing as a place to move to permanently, so it has also become a popular wedding location. It's simple. All of the people who have moved to Atlanta will now get married in Atlanta unless they choose to get married in the hometown where they're from or have a destination wedding, for example. This has increased the demand for Atlanta weddings, wedding planners, officiants, venues, and vendors. Your wedding venue, especially if you plan to have your ceremony and reception in a hotel, should be one of the first things you book for your wedding. Keep 3 to 4 options in mind when booking your wedding venue. Also, be prepared to negotiate. If you and your guests are having your wedding at a hotel and have your rehearsal dinner, reception, and ceremony there, you have substantial bargaining power. The areas that you should consider discussing with your booking agent are the cost of your rooms, a free room for the bride and groom, a discounted rate for our rehearsal dinner, and travel rewards points. These are the areas that they will be prepared to discuss and have some flexibility with. The more services you purchase, the more they should be prepared to negotiate. Everyone who has lived in Atlanta recently knows that Atlanta has become increasingly expensive over the last 5 to 10 years. Again, you may want to negotiate if you have out-of-town guests to stay at a hotel for your wedding. According to wheelchairtravel.org, here are a few of the most accessible hotels in Atlanta. The Aloft Atlanta Downtown and the Atlanta Marriott Marquis top the list. Choosing a location that fits your guests' needs is very important. You may even consider asking in our invitation whether there are any accessibility needs that you can accommodate for your special day. For the number of guests you invite to your wedding, you will want an appropriate amount of space for your events. The main events are the rehearsal dinner, ceremony, and reception. You will need plenty of space to accommodate your wedding guests. But you may want to consider how many guests you will have from out of town, and how many guests you have. For example, if most of your guests live in town, and you don't need a large block of rooms or space in a hotel for guests to enjoy, you may not need as much space. Of course, the more guests you have in a hotel or visiting from out of town, the more space you need. This means that a smaller hotel might work better for you the more guests you have, because you don't want a sizable entire hotel of other guests along with a large number of your wedding guests. Sure, it can work, but it will seem cramped. One way to cut costs and find more space for you and your guests is to consider a hotel around the perimeter of Atlanta rather than in the perimeter, especially in higher-priced locations like West Midtown, Buckhead, and Brookhaven. Consider locations such as Alpharetta, Sandy Springs, Smyrna, and Chamblee for more perimeter area options with space to accommodate you and your guests. The benefit of choosing a venue in the Atlanta perimeter area is that you will have access to many areas that guests traveling from out of town might want to visit, such as Atlantic Station, West Midtown, Krog Street, Grant Park, and the Beacon. Your guests might also want to visit the World of Coca-Cola area and the Georgia Aquarium. It's better to be within walking distance or close enough to attractions closer to the venue and hotel than having your hotel be far away. If most of your guests are from out of town, try to find a more centrally located place. Just know that the price will be much higher if you choose a hotel within the perimeter. This is when you'll want to put in place those negotiation requests to be prepared. Keep in mind that your timeline for booking a wedding venue should be as soon as you think you might need it. In other words, don't hesitate to book your wedding venue with at least one backup as soon as you're engaged. Realistically, you may need a year or more to reserve your preferred venue. Some places might even be backed up to 2 years for more sought-after wedding dates during peak season. This is one of the most important things to do as early as possible, along with setting up marriage counseling and your budget. One of the best outdoor wedding venues is the Botanical Gardens. Here are the 10 closest hotels near the Atlanta Botanical Garden. Other outdoor venues in Atlanta include Cater Woolford Gardens at the Fraser Center and Roswell River Landing. One of the significant advantages of having a wedding in Atlanta is embracing nature and enjoying the climate of this location. If you have your wedding in the right month, you will enjoy the beautiful weather. Just be careful not to have your wedding in Atlanta from June to August, as it will be scorching hot, and you will be less likely to enjoy the events. But you will be in the clear if you have your wedding even in the winter months, especially from March to May or late September to November. Side note, my wedding was at the beginning of November, and it was one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen. When you have an outdoor wedding event in Georgia, you can enjoy the beautiful atmosphere and let nature provide the space your guests will enjoy. As long as you have enough space and keep an eye on the weather, this should provide a good experience. In the fall, you should be in the clear, but of course, there can always be a rainy day, so you will want to keep a few backup options, even with your own venue choice. Some of the best options for parks and gardens to have your wedding in Atlanta are the gardens at Kennesaw Mountain, Chattahoochee Nature Center, and Lakeside at Five Arrow Farms. In conclusion, choosing an Atlanta wedding hotel can make your special day even more memorable. With its stunning venues, top-notch amenities, and exceptional service, you can trust that your wedding will be extraordinary. So, start envisioning your dream wedding in the heart of Atlanta, and let the good times unfold in a truly unforgettable way. Here's to a lifetime of love and cherished memories.